It was a cough that you just couldn't shake. When it lingered, you went to see the doctor. They ran test after test, and they finally figured it out. You have cancer. In the weeks and months ahead, you're going to be spending a lot of time in a hospital bed like this. Feeling isolated from family and friends, you begin to contemplate your own mortality. Is this it? Is this how it will all end? It was a small birthday party for family and friends. You didn't feel drunk when you got behind the wheel for the drive home, but you caused an accident and someone died. For the next several years, this will be your home. Isolated from family and friends, you begin to wrestle with the crushing burden of guilt that stems from causing another person's death. And heartfelt regret turns into hopelessness and despair. People call them the golden years, when your family's all grown and retirement offers a new taste of freedom. But as the years pass, traveling becomes more difficult and you see family and friends less and less. Then you take a bad fall, and the next thing you know, you're in a wheelchair, living in a nursing home. And the hardest part of it all, it's the boredom, the loneliness, the feeling of abandonment that fill your days and nights. Referring to himself as the Good Shepherd, Jesus once said, "I have other sheep that are not of the sheep pen. I must bring them in also." In search of these other sheep, our churches send out missionaries around the world, establish mission congregations across the country, and evangelize our own neighborhoods. In spite of all of these efforts, there are many places right inside our own communities where these lost sheep of Jesus, these other sheep, go unnoticed and overlooked. I'm talking about the physically and emotionally ill sheep in our hospitals and mental health facilities, the disciplined and rebellious sheep in our jails and prisons, the frail and aging sheep in our nursing homes. Who will search for these sheep? Who will bring God's comfort to the one battling cancer in the hospital? Who will tell the prisoner crushed with guilt about the Savior's love and forgiveness? Who will reassure the lonely that God has neither abandoned nor forgotten them in their old age? Who will search for Jesus' other sheep in all of these places? We will. For over a century, it's been the mission of Wisconsin Lutheran Institutional Ministries to search for Jesus' other sheep within the institutions of our community. This ministry first began on what is now the Froedtert Hospital grounds in Milwaukee, when a young pastor by the name of William Rader walked past an imposing structure with the words "Poor Farm" inscribed upon its gates. Wondering what kind of people could live in such a place, he entered the building and found hundreds of destitute people whose desire for life was being snuffed out by isolation and daily routine. For these people, this institution was the end of the line. Institutions have certainly changed since Pastor Rader first entered the Poor Farm over a century ago, but the spiritual needs of the residents inside has not, and neither has our ministry. Mindful of the Good Shepherd's words, we continue bringing the gospel to Jesus' other sheep so that they too might hear his voice and be called into his fold. Today, Wisconsin Lutheran Institutional Ministries is supported by well over 3,000 individuals, over 300 schools and various organizations, and almost 400 congregations. And on their behalf, it carries out ministry to over 130 institutions throughout the upper Midwest with its ever-growing network of volunteers. Please join us again for this continuing video series as we explore in greater detail the tremendous opportunity for ministry in the many institutions all around us, the many places Wisconsin Lutheran Institutional Ministries goes in search of Jesus' other sheep.